Learning to turn around on roller skates is one of those skills that unlocks so much confidence. It helps you to start learning how to skate backwards. It helps you to recover when you accidentally end up facing the wrong way. And it simply just makes you feel so much more in control of your skating. So today I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it, starting with the traditional method, and then I'm going to show you an alternative that I find many of my beginner skaters find easier to learn. Hey, I'm Tracy, and after coming back to roller skating after 19 years as a mum, I now help adults learn to roller skate with confidence, overcome fear, and rediscover the joy of roller skating. So many beginner skaters think that turning around is a footwork problem, but usually it's actually a confidence problem because people don't trust the movement, so they stop halfway, they keep their weight back, and they end up getting stuck. But once you understand what's supposed to lead the movement, it becomes much easier. So we're going to start with the traditional method, which is the open book transition. If you're struggling with this transition, it's usually because you're focusing on your feet first, when the feet are actually the last thing that happens. So think about that for a second. I want you to imagine turning around to somebody that's calling your name behind you. You wouldn't twist your foot first. That's exactly how this open book transition works. You start by looking where you want to go, open your shoulders completely in that direction, let your hips follow, and then allow your skates to step around underneath you. Before we start to practice this, I want to make this as easy as possible for you. So I want you to practice this off skates first, and then if you're still feeling nervous about trying this on skates, I want you to practice it on grass, carpet, or even a yoga mat. Just any surface where your wheels won't roll away from you as much, which means you can purely focus on the movement. Looking, opening the shoulders, rotating the hips, and stepping around comfortably. We're not trying to master the skill straight away. We're just starting to teach your body the movement and the pattern of this skill first. So before we jump straight into a 180-degree transition, let's break this down a bit. I want you to start by practicing 90-degree steps. Focus on turning your head first, opening up those shoulders, rotating your hips, and stepping into that new position, putting the weight onto that forward foot. Once this feels comfortable, you can gradually increase to a 180. If you're getting stuck at the 90-degree step, don't worry. This is one of the most common things I see beginner skaters do. Usually it's because you're not quite looking where you want to go yet, your shoulders haven't fully opened, and you're keeping your weight back instead of committing to that foot. When that happens, your hips stop rotating and your feet get stuck halfway through the movement. If you're finding yourself getting stuck halfway, don't force the feet, go back to the start. But it's just really, really important to make sure that you're looking in that direction. The shoulders are nice and open, and then step into that direction, close off. Once you're comfortable with that, you can start to put it all together as one movement. Check where you're looking, check if your shoulders are fully opened, and make sure you're transferring your weight onto that stepping foot. Most of the time when these 3 things start to happen, the feet sort themselves out. You'll know when you've got this because you can comfortably finish facing the opposite direction without stumbling or feeling twisted up halfway. If your skates end up in a stable position where you can easily put weight into them, you're on the right track. So you can definitely practice this on the spot. Once you're comfortable with doing this on the spot, then you can try it rolling. Don't go really fast, you don't need a lot of speed. Just go super slow until you get more confident. Make sure those knees are nice and soft. You definitely don't want straight legs because there's more chance of slipping backwards. When you're practicing these, go in both directions just to make sure that we're working both sides of our bodies and we're trying to make our skating skills as even as possible. Now, the reason that it's called an open book is because when you do this skill, you're basically doing a open book movement where you flip the page open and then you close the back of the book. If it helps, you can put your hands together. Now the weight is center. You need to transfer your weight from one skate into the other. If you don't transfer the weight, you get stuck here on this foot and then it's really hard to lift that back foot. And this is the position that we go into. So don't think of going to a full clean line because this is just uncomfortable. Now, if you're doing it stationary and you think you can do that 180 step quite confidently, and you go to do it rolling and you don't fully commit, you'll get stuck halfway. And if your skate stops here, that's when you kind of trip and stumble. So because your skate is going sideways, your wheels can't spin. So you really need to make sure that you commit to that 180 step. Put that skate down first and then bring that other skate to meet and close off that transition. Guys, if you're finding these tutorials helpful and you'd like more beginner-friendly roller skating tips, make sure you subscribe because I've got plenty more tutorials coming your way to help you build confidence on your skates. Method number 2, we've got a heel toe pivot. Now, if that open book transition feels natural to you, fantastic, that is awesome. But if the open book transition feels intimidating to you, that's okay. This is actually really common. For many beginner skaters, the tricky part isn't actually turning around. It's having to lift one skate and commit into that stepping movement. Think of this version that I'm about to teach as keeping your skates connected to the floor with you while you're turning in motion. The good news about this one is that everything from the waist up stays exactly the same as what we just learned. You're still looking where you want to go, you're opening up the shoulders and you're allowing your hips to follow. The only difference is what your feet are doing. So instead of stepping into the transition, you're using your heel and toe to pivot to bring those skates around. So a pivot is when you're on 2 wheels and the skate is turning. So I'm pivoting on my skates. So we're still looking in the direction, we're opening up the shoulders, we're rotating the hips, the front foot pivots on the heel and the back foot pivots on the toe and you end up facing backwards. So you might have seen this transition before, but you've probably seen it done as a heel pivot, which is also correct. But the reason that I teach this back foot to pivot on the toe wheel instead of the heel is because beginner skaters are less likely to slip backwards. I find using the toe pivot gives newer skaters a little bit more stability and confidence while they're learning. So let me just show you that in a little bit more detail. If we are pivoting on the heel and the toe, there's less chance that I can slip backwards if I'm on my toe wheels. If I do a heel pivot and then a heel pivot, what's happening here? So if my weight is too far back, I'm going to go backwards. So that's what I've noticed with my students is when they practice this one, it's a little easier because the skates are always connected to the ground. And once you get comfortable with the heel toe, you can play around with the heel. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. And just like that open book transition, you'll know when you've got it right. It's when you can smoothly rotate in the new direction without feeling like you have to rush through the movement. The goal isn't speed with this one. The goal is feeling controlled and comfortable throughout the transition, so that when you turn backwards, you're in control and you're not starting off on a bad foot. And you might be wondering which one you should actually practice first. If you're comfortable lifting the skate and stepping into that 180, I'd suggest starting with the open book transition. It's a really useful skill that actually carries over into a lot of other skating movements. But if stepping feels a little bit intimidating and you're not quite comfortable with committing your weight onto the foot yet, then try the heel toe pivot. It can be a great place to start because your skates, like I said, stay connected to the floor. There are so many other ways that you can transition as well. Some skaters just love the open book traditional method, while others find that the heel toe clicks much faster. Try both and see which one feels more natural for you. And if you're ready to start skating backwards, check out this video next. I walk you through a few beginner-friendly ways to get started. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.